AITA for encouraging my daughter not to watch her cousin or clean up his mess. Story 1. What? Not the a-hole. Whenever my sister Lynn goes to any family event, she never watches her own kids and expects everyone else to, including my own children, who have complained about it. She will leave the room with her toddler, that acts like a wild animal. I told my children 10 and 13 not to be duped into watching that brat. My 13-year-old daughter left the room when my sister left her alone with her kid to gossip with my mom. My daughter got up and left. Lynn's toddlers pulled all the food off by the tablecloth and spilled red pasta sauce all over my mom's carpet. The kid was screaming, and Lynn started to yell at my daughter when I told Lynn it was her responsibility to watch her own fucking kids. Lynn said she thought my daughter was watching the baby. I asked her, "Did you ask my daughter to?" Lynn said she thought my daughter was smart enough to watch kids if they were alone with them. My daughter said maybe Lynn should be smarter next time she thinks of having kids that she can't control or watch. Yes, this was rude, and I laughed. My mom told my daughter to help pick up the mess because she helped cause it. My daughter refused, saying it was Lynn's fault because she let her kids run around like animals. My mom said we could all leave because we had no respect for her or her house. My daughter said she wouldn't be back until her grandmother and aunt respected her. I took my kids home. My mom thinks I should punish or talk to my daughter and make her apologize, but I won't. I don't think my daughter did anything wrong, and it's Lynn's fault for not watching her own brats. First comment. Is there a possibility of a productive talk with your mom about Lynn's dumping her kid on yours? I assume not, since there's a certain kind of parent who just blames everyone equally regardless of what actually happened. That always has the impact of rewarding the most selfish and shameless kid. And it sounds like that's what's happened. Your sister is completely in the wrong for not parenting her child. You're completely in the right for protecting your child, but your mother is also completely in the wrong for continuing not to parent her own child, your sister. Your sister should have cleaned up the mess her child made, not your child. Your daughter is owed an apology, but I think the chances of her getting one from either your mom or sister are pretty low. If you refuse to go to your mom's for a while, will she have to deal with Lynn and the terror on her own? That might get her to see the dynamic. NTA. Second comment. I want to know where the toddler's father was in all of this. Like, why was Lynn's only option to assume that her 13-year-old niece would keep an eye on the kid? Growing up, I was always the one that watched my younger cousins at events, but that's because I chose to. I love kids and like playing with them. But my aunts and uncles would always tell me when they were leaving the room, especially if they were the last adult in the room, and make sure I'd be okay for the few minutes it took for them to do whatever. NTA, your mother and sister owe your daughter an apology. And you probably owe your kids an ice cream or something for standing up for themselves. Keep being an awesome parent with strong, independent kids. Your relatives can go kick rocks. Third comment. NTA. Nothing your daughter said was wrong. Your sister shouldn't have kids if she has no urgency to care for them. Who walks out of a room that their toddler is in and expects another child to watch said toddler? I know she's 13, but so much could have happened. What if something fell on the baby's head? That would be entirely Lynn's fault, as she is an adult and her child is her responsibility, and not a 13-year-old's. She needs to grow up, fast. You can't be a mom and be that irresponsible. Story 2. AITA for not taking my wife as my +1? Not the a-hole. ETA fiancé, not wife, my mistake. Alright, I'm going to be honest here, me 25M and my fiancé, Lily 26F, are not currently in the best financial situation. I have student debt, and although I have a consistent job thanks to my degree, I've still got quite some way to go until I'm at a stable position, especially with us both saving up for our wedding. Despite this, my best friend, James 25M, who is in a different financial situation to me, often invites me to events held by his dad or family occasions which he can get me into. We've been close since we were 6 and got even closer when he was put in my foster home for a while. They couldn't find his dad. The thing is, James and his dad have a somewhat strained relationship, with his dad being kind of snobby, so James usually buys me something to fit in on the day of the event, which obviously costs him money. I used to protest when I was younger, but James doesn't like going to those things on his own, and I've gotten accustomed to letting him get me things. Next weekend, James' dad is holding some sort of garden party, and James as usual invited me. Lily was annoyed and asked if I could take her as my +1. I mentioned that there's usually a pretty strict dress code and I don't want James to get in trouble with his dad. They have a weird relationship. Lily said that James could just do what he usually does, which is get her something to fit in. I said I wasn't going to ask one of my closest friends for more money and/or mess up his relationship with his dad more than it already is. Lily was really mad and said this meant I didn't care about her, because James clearly didn't have a problem forking over for me and all she was doing was suggesting I ask. I don't know, I'm in a tough spot here and I just think it would be weird to invite another guest on James' dime. AITA? First comment. It would be inappropriate to ask your friend for money to buy nice clothes for your wife. That's right. But did you ever ask him, hey, do you think I can bring my wife with me? You said it yourself, you're not financially stable, and I can only guess it affects your relationship. It affects to how many dates you're going together. It's normal. But what isn't normal is that you have a friend that whenever he invites you to these weird events, you're accepting the invitation and not even trying to bring your wife with you. Have you ever stopped to think, how does she feel? My husband accepts every invite from his friend, the friend gifts him some nice clothes. But we haven't done anything nice in a while. We don't have the money. Yeti. Second comment. Why tell your bromance buddy is showing you the pretty woman fantasy while your wife is stuck at home twiddling her thumbs? She feels like she's competing against him because she probably is. He's got all the money, shows you a good time, and she gets the boring day-to-day version of you without the means to show you a good time. Dude, you're his date. It doesn't have to be sexual, but everyone can see you're his super plus one bro date. That sounds exhausting for her, for you to forever be with this other rich guy who needs you and pays for your attention. Third comment. You are a massive but see too self-absorbed to even realize it. Even the way you worded the original post question compared to the information that has come out in reply throughout the post makes you an You do not come across as a good fiancé or friend either for that matter. Story 3. AITA for not telling my brothers to spend time with our mother's affair baby? Not the a-hole. A hole. Long story short, my mother cheated on my father 4 years ago and got pregnant. My father forgave her and raises my half-sibling as if she were their child. She looks just like my mother, so only a few members of the family knows what happened. I didn't know about what had happened either. BC, I live with my boyfriend. It was my brothers who told me everything. I'm not close to my parents anymore. I'm not interested in being close with their daughter because I'm not going to get into my parents' drama and toxic relationship. It's their lives, period. But when all that happened, I was already 25 years old. While my siblings were still living with them when all the infidelity was discovered, it was in the house, so they saw everything. Coming to the present, my siblings never had a good relationship with my mother again, no. Some families can't afford family therapy, so it was never an option. 2 of them no longer live with our parents, and the only one left, he is 16 years old, has come to live with me and my boyfriend. None of them have any contact with my parents' daughter or my parents. The 16-year-old ignored the 3 of them when he was at home. Now I've been paying him for the psychologist. My father and mother have let my brother live with me, but they keep insisting that I should talk with my brothers and make them spend time with her. I can't force them to do something they don't want to do. But my father insists that I am the older sister and I should do something for the good of the family since my brothers listen to me. My mother went so far as to tell me that the little girl asks for us, even though we have never seen her. Even my grandparents are insisting that I should talk to my siblings and convince them to spend time with her, but I don't know what to do, and all my family who knows about this, my mother's sister and grandparents, the rest of them doesn't know anything, I think. Or maybe they know, but they don't care, says I'm an for not doing my duty as an older daughter. Edit. I feel like I have to repeat this, but no one is hating a little girl, neither my siblings, nor I hate her. We want her to be happy, but we prefer to worry about our own mental health. She's 4 years old. A 4-year-old girl doesn't do anything without her parents, so letting her into my life is letting my parents back into my life. When my brother is of legal age, I plan to cut off all contact with them again, which is now only online. Meanwhile, all my siblings have their own reasons for not having contact since they lived through our parents' toxic relationship. My parents are just drama and I'm sick of it. I don't understand the comments saying that I abandoned her. She doesn't even know me. She's not my daughter. Why do so many talk as if I have the responsibility to raise her just because I am her half-sister? I mean, a lot of people in the comments thinks and says the same things as my mother, so I'm even more confused than before. First comment, NTA, not your monkeys, not your circus. Your mom fucked around and was found out. Your siblings do not need to have a relationship with your half-sibling if they do not want to. Good for your brother to be going to therapy. You paying for it makes you the A of big sisters. Be prepared for your parents to keep on guilting you and pre to go LCNC if they keep pestering you and your brother. Second comment. NTA. It's not your fault your mother made a mistake in her past, and your parents can't force you to mend relationships for her. You are completely in the right by saying, I can't force them to do something they don't want to do. If she wants a good relationship with her children again, that is her responsibility. The guilt tripping with the little girl is disgusting, saying she asks for you even though you've never seen her. It sounds like they need to get their sheshti figured out before they start telling you what to do. No burden like that should be placed on children, despite their age.